Alright, so this is the first Benchy that I've printed on my printer. It didn't turn out perfect, but it's not too bad. You can see there's some stringing going on in there, and this little archway that's sort of sagged down a little bit. Didn't bridge that perfectly, but I wasn't really expecting it to. But the worst problem that I can see with this print is this sort of stepping going up here. And what that's actually caused by is because this thing warped. If we bring in, I've just got this tablet here, nice flat sheet of glass though, you'll see it warped and didn't stick down to the bed. Now I'm using just blue painter's tape in order to hold this down. So when it warped like that, it threw everything off and it kind of misaligned the layers there. And also the smokestack on the top, the fan was completely disabled to start with. I manually enabled it toward the top section of the smokestack, and you'll see it's still kind of deformed. And the reason why is it's printing this so fast that the plastic doesn't have time to solidify, and it ends up kind of mushing that smokestack back and forth. So the holes actually came out pretty nicely. There is supposed to be text that says 3D Benchy across the back, but it's so small. I don't see how you can really print that with an FDM printer at all. But anyhow, that little hole came out good. The hole in this came out good. Again, not perfect bridging across this. These holes are pretty nice. The roof, I like how it actually kind of looks like shingles, the way that the layers align there. So let's go ahead and get the calipers out, and we'll do some measurements on this and see how close we are to what the actual model should be. Alright, so we've got the measure and calibrate section open up on the 3D Benchy website, which is just 3dbenchy.com. So anyhow, I think all this is going to be in millimeters, so we're going to go ahead and set this to millimeters, zero it out, and do some measurements on this and see how close my printer is. So the roof bridge length is the first thing that they show, so we'll measure that. It says it's supposed to be 23 millimeters. We've got 23.36, so a little bit bigger. The chimney's probably going to be off a little bit, like I said, because it didn't really print right. It's supposed to be 7 millimeters. We've got actually pretty close to that, 7.2 or so. And the inner diameter, I don't think I'm really going to be able to measure that too well. Yeah, it's showing like 2, but I can't really get these don't really fit down in there too well. And apparently, is it this depth that they're showing is supposed to be 11 millimeters ish? That's 9 point something. I can't fit this down in there. Anyway, next thing, horizontal overall length. Let's put it in here like this and put it flat up against the calipers. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Maybe, except it's not going to touch the back. I mean, that's close to 60. This isn't exactly easy to line up. Yeah, about 61. So not perfect. Overall width. They say it should be 31. Looks like we've got about 31. Yeah, 31.23. Overall height, we've got 48 millimeters. Top of the smokestack down to the bottom, you got about 48.7. And from this thing down, they show it should be 15.5. Got about 15.7. Cargo box size, the outside should be about 12 millimeters across. Looks like we've got 11.8. The inside part of here is 7.8. Looks like it's supposed to be about 8. And this is getting into parts where I can't really get the calipers in right, so keep going. Hawes pipe diameter, I believe that's this part. About 3.5 millimeters. And they're showing 4, looks like, but again, I can't really get the calipers in here quite right. And the depth of this is supposed to be real shallow, 0.03. It did print it. Looks like we got about 0.24 on that, according to these calipers. Front window size, we've got 9.5, well, 10.5 across this way. Got about 10.1, and this is the one that's 9.5, and I can't really get the calipers in there, but we're reading about 9. It's supposed to be 9 millimeters on the inside. Got 8.6, 12 millimeters on the outside. And about 12.2. Roof angle, we don't really care about this stuff. And this is the small detail plate there, which is only 0.1 millimeters. It's supposed to say hashtag 3D Benchy on it. You can see there's not really any discernible markings there. But then again, you're printing with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. I'm not really expecting something that's only 0.1 millimeters to show up with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. Maybe something you can do with a laser style printer. But anyway, it's close enough, I would say. We're not off by more than a millimeter or too much more than a millimeter in any of the measurements. 3D printing is not the most accurate thing in the world. But overall, I think it's close enough. It turned out okay. The only thing I can really do to this to make it better is to get it to stick to the bed better. So I'm going to look into some different materials and see if I can't do something better with this.